So, this video I'm gonna be chiming in on a video by Hunter Avallone. So, Hunter, I guess you could say following, looking at his videos for a few years now. He's kind of changed. He used to be like right-wing conservative, basically everything that I thought he said, so it was cool. I kind of related to him. That's why I watched his stuff. He's kind of, in like the past year or something, he did make a video about it, but he's kind of changed his stance a little, which is weird, and I don't really like it, because like there's times where he'll be saying stuff, and then I'm like, nah, and then I'm like, what's going on with you? I never said nah to whatever you were saying, but I still check his stuff out. So anyhow, there's this one video, the one that's right there in the middle at the top. I debated a conspiracy theorist, and this. So she made a video in response to a video he made, and so I guess there's been back and forth like behind the scenes and such. They haven't been keep making videos, but yeah, he got her to link up here, and they had a debate. The problem is it's a very terrible debate. It's terrible, one, because I don't think either she wasn't prepared for this, which she does say at one point, I wasn't prepared, so that could just be the situation. But B, I feel like what it also could be is maybe she got like a little nervous or intimidated while doing this in person. I mean, it's one thing to make a video when you're home alone behind closed doors and such, but then when you actually have the person there and they're saying their part, you kind of freeze up. So I mean, that's what I'd be like, so that could also be why she didn't do so hot. But then on the other hand as well, he sucked in this debate. I mean, he poses stupid questions, he poses dumb I don't know, like proof and evidence of things. Like, he's just reaching, he's not offering anything valid. Like, he's pretty good at debating. I suck at debating, and like I always think, man, how does he do that? Like, there's been times where he goes to, in the past at least, I don't think he'll ever do it anymore, but he used to go to like, I don't know, what were they, like gay pride parades, or he'd go to Antifa rallies and all this stuff, and he'd start talking to somebody, and like he'd be able to shut them down, no problem, like Ben Shapiro can do if you've ever seen anything he's done. And it's like, this debate's just terrible. It's like that. I don't know, it's like 180 of the effort he usually does. So I kind of wanted to make a video just to A, talk about it, and B, like I said, her side of the debate was pretty bad, so I basically want to provide the answers for her that she couldn't think of in the moment, help her out. So let's get into it. Oh, and another thing is, as you see, this is, his video is 35 minutes 26 seconds. I'm not going to be going through the entire video. It's going to be chopped up. I'm going to be pausing it so I can talk. I mean, there's some parts where they kind of keep going over the same topic for a while. So, like, when I pause and say my answer, there's nothing else for me to say. So, it's going to be chopped up and whatever. So, be sure that if you do want to see the whole video, check out his channel, Hunter Avallone. It's still fairly new. I mean, recent uploads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 5th video. So, it's right near the top still. He's also got a second channel nowadays called Everyday Avallone. Obviously, he uploads something every day there. So, check him out. And, yeah, definitely be able to check him out for this video if you want to see the whole thing uninterrupted, yada, yada, yada. So, with that out of the way, let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? Hunter Avallone here, and today I am joined by Heidi. Thanks for coming on, Heidi. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good.
So I watched your response video to me. Let me try to summarize what I think your position is on this.
Okay.
What I gathered from that video is that you think that I'm just kind of listening to what the mainstream media is telling me. I'm not really doing much critical thinking. That wearing the masks is an infringement on our rights, and that masks...
Oh, that's what I forgot to say as well. Oops. So their whole debate is basically, like he just started to say, it's based on just wearing masks in public. She's, as it says, I debated a conspiracy theorist. She's a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist. She follows a lot of conspiracy theory channels on YouTube, on Twitter, all that. So, yeah. Forgot to give that little bit of a backstory. Oops.
along with social distancing, don't work, and that we should be giving sick patients with COVID hydrochloroquine.
I really just feel like people are overplaying it way too much. Like, more so than normal.
Well, you do know that the masks are not so much for your own protection, but for the protection of others, right?
And I understand that.
So,
Okay, so here's one thing that I had the first time I saw this, I thought he says you know that the masks are not for your protection but for others. Okay, so to her point, it's dumb that you have to wear a mask, because if you're not infected, then what are you protecting others from by having to wear the mask? It's dumb. I don't have it. My daughter doesn't have it. My mom doesn't have it. Nobody I know has it. So why do we all have to wear these masks? What are we protecting others from? Nothing. What are you going to catch from me? Nothing. It doesn't matter if I have the mask on or not. You're fine. Now you could say, oh, well, conversely, it can protect you from getting it from others. Okay, fine. That's a fair point, but easily debunked, because if other people are wearing the mask that are supposed to, I mean, like you're supposed to, especially if they have it, then isn't the whole purpose of the masks to catch it, the virus? Like if somebody coughs, sneezes, or whatever, isn't it supposed to catch it? So it doesn't matter if I don't have a mask on. As long as they got their mask on, I'm still fine. I'm not going to be able to give it to anybody because I don't have it, and I'm not going to be able to get it from anybody else because they got their mask on, which is supposed to be the catch-all, right? So, what was the other part I had? I gotta edit this so violently anyways, it doesn't even matter if I forget. It's for other people's protection. So what am I protecting if I don't have one? Oh yeah, so then the other thing, I mean, the only thing I feel like you could say to this is, okay, well, that's the reason why everybody has to wear a mask, because obviously if it wasn't a mandated thing, then nobody would be wearing a mask, and that means these people that are infected would be walking around just sneezing all over and spreading it like wildfire. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, this point is just kind of weak, if you will, because if I don't have it, I'm not protecting anybody from anything, because I don't have anything that they have to worry about. You know, I'm fine, but I gotta wear a mask.
just if you haven't gotten sick from not wearing the mask, it doesn't mean that masks don't work. Because by you wearing the mask, you're protecting other people around you.
No, I get that.
Maybe I jumped the gun. That's where he says it. No, you're not protecting anybody. If you don't have it, what are you protecting other people from? Nothing.
So,
But-
and you also say it's kind of your right to like go about your day without being questioned. But I feel like by that logic, couldn't you also argue that it's an infringement on your rights that you're forced to wear clothes?
All right, this was his first bogus claim that he made, because this is not apples to apples at all. This is like cherries to watermelons. I mean, this is ridiculous. Clothes, okay. Yes, maybe you could say that it's a societal thing that we have to wear clothing and blah, blah, blah. But it's been in place for so long, and the last time we didn't wear clothes was what, when we were cavemen? Ever since we've been quote unquote civilized, we've had clothes on. And the clothes, not only is it a societal thing, but it does serve a lot of purposes that you have clothing on. In winter, it helps with, when it's cold, it helps you feel a little better. You're not getting frostbite or what have you. In summer, it can protect you against the sun. If you're dirty, like, I just mean you're a dirty individual, you haven't showered in a while, your butt's a little juicy and such, well, at least if you have clothes on, it's getting absorbed into there instead of just on, say, a chair, and then someone else comes and sits there. Like, now you could say, yeah, that's the whole point of a mask. Okay, but this is a much more unique situation. Think about all the times you've gone to a restaurant. You sit at that table. The next person comes, they sit there. Next person comes, they sit there. Okay, if we were all naked and y'all had dirty butts, all your gross, dirty butts are just going on that chair. And wear a mask. Think about it this way: how many times are you behind somebody at a store and the person in front of you gags? Not often. I mean, yeah, obviously that happens, but it's not all the time. And that's the thing too with these masks. Like, it's just a random, unless you're an Afghani woman, or actually a Chinese resident, because they wear masks all the time because of the extreme haze that they have, smog, I mean. But otherwise, this isn't something we do. And the point is, overall, is the reasoning why you have to wear these masks is just super weak. You know, it's supposed to help prevent, but okay, I don't have it, so what am I wearing the mask for, like I just said? And the other thing, too, that's pretty bogus is if you, so if you were to really zoom in on a mask, the fibers are, there's a gap between the fibers. Yeah, you can't see it on the large scale, but when you zoom in, the gap between the fibers is like one, what is it, micrometer, which is 0.000001 meters. I mean, that's a weird measurement, but the point is it's small. Now, you know how big the coronavirus virus is? 1 nanometer, which is what, 100 times smaller. So in comparison, you know, let's say Trump's wall, say he left a section of the wall that was 600 feet long, wide open, no fence. He was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave no fence at this portion, 600 feet, that's fine. You think that would be stopping any of the Mexican people from coming into the United States? No, they'd be like, oh, cool, there's this huge wide open area that I can just walk right through. Okay, that's basically what the masks are to the coronavirus. They're like, oh, okay, I got this huge hole that I can just go right through. Like, when you really stop to break it down, are the masks even really doing anything? Probably not.
Well, like, how
that
is that
would be a whole other video on that one.
But how is that different?
Florida, everyone's pretty much a nudist to begin with.
But how is that different, though? Because you wear clothes. I mean, the state literally can arrest people for indecent exposure. If you're walking down the street without clothes on, you can literally go to jail. So, if wearing a mask is an infringement on your rights...
Yeah, but I just went over this. It's a completely different situation. This is not apples to apples. It's not even apples to oranges. At least those are both round fruits. Like I said, this is bananas to those specially grown square apples. Like, it's in different fruit, different shapes, everything. It's not a valid comparison. That's a stupid comparison. He's just reaching, trying to come up with anything dumb just to pretend he's making some kind of a point.
Then is wearing clothes also an infringement on your rights?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, if I wanted to walk around naked, why shouldn't I? If I'm not hurting anybody or doing anything to anybody, I'm not walking around with a woody. So, it's not really an issue.
Okay, so if you're okay with that, with people walking around naked as long as they're not hurting anybody, then shouldn't you technically be in favor of wearing a mask? Because by not wearing a...
No, because how is he gonna try to swing this? She just made a claim that she's okay with walking around naked as long as you're not hurting anybody. And then he says, oh, so you should be okay with wearing a mask. Why would you be walking around naked and then want to put a mask on? That's basically going right against what she just said. No, that just furthers her own ideas. That's not the word I want, but her own ideas about, you know, being... It goes hand in hand. Being naked and you're not hurting anybody. Well, if you don't have the virus, then you're not hurting anybody. Why do I need a mask? It's basically the same thing. So no, Hunter, no.
A mask, you are potentially hurting someone.
Honestly, absolutely.
You're only potentially hurting somebody if you have the virus. And even then, if you're able to control yourself from coughing or sneezing in public and you don't have a mask on, you're still not going to give it to anybody else. These are such weak claims by people that want to be major mask supporters.
I mean, if other people want to wear the mask, they can.
But why won't you wear the mask?
I just don't...
I just said it a million times. I mean, here's the thing. I do wear masks in public only because I don't like... I just go with the flow a lot of times because it's easier, you know. I don't like conflict. I don't like confrontation. I don't like to go against the grain. But I do think being forced to wear a mask is dumb. Like I've said a million times already in this video. I don't have it. What do I need to wear a mask for? I'm not protecting anybody from anything because there's nothing for me to give to them. So there's nothing for them to be worried about that they need protection from me from. The only thing they need protection from me from is if I went psycho out of nowhere and wanted to, you know, hurt people. But otherwise, as far as the micro level goes, there's nothing that I'm gonna harm you with. I don't even have like a cold or the regular flu, never mind corona. So I'm wearing a mask for what?
I don't like it on my face.
I know,
Honestly, I don't even like wearing my glasses.
But there's more to it than just whether or not you like it. It's about keeping your fellow Americans safe based on what the science has shown.
Yes, but you're only keeping them safe if you are infected. And even then, as long as you keep a proper level of social distancing, I'm not saying 6 feet because that's not enough. I'm saying like 10 to 11, 12 feet away from others. It doesn't matter if you have no mask on and you're gagging. It still isn't going to even reach them at those distances. So the mask, it doesn't matter if you don't have it. And the coronavirus is not airborne. It lives in like when you sneeze or something, the little spit molecules, whatever the words I'm looking for, the spray. It lives in that. So as that settles, the coronavirus is also settling to the ground or to a surface or whatever. So all you got to do is not be super close to other people, even if you have it and you're not wearing a mask. But that's not even the scenario here. These two people and me talking all don't have it. So what does any of us need a mask for? Hunter keeps saying you're protecting your fellow Americans. From what? None of us have it. What are we protecting each other from? Nothing.
Well, I keep my distance from them. That should be more than enough.
It's not airborne. It spreads through droplets when you sneeze or when you cough, and the mask...
Droplets. That's probably the better word.
Mask helps to prevent that and catch those droplets before they evaporate into the...
Exactly, and that's basically what I just said. As long as the people who are infected wear it, then you don't even need a mask. One, you're not going to be able to give anything to anybody because you're not infected. And two, as long as they're wearing their mask, you ain't going to get it from them either because the mask is supposed to help.
The air. So it's better for virtually everyone if just everyone pitched in and wore a mask. So I'm trying to understand why you won't wear one.
Well, at the same time, but can it not be argued that you can also cover your mouth when you're about to sneeze or cough like you would normally?
I understand what she's trying to say. I wouldn't say cover your mouth because she put hand. Well, that would just be worse. You're going to sneeze into your hand, and then you're going to go and touch a door, or you're going to go and touch a carriage at a store, or grab a basket, or be browsing the shelves. That's worse. But you could at least, like, lift your shirt up over your face and sneeze into your shirt. That's what I always do, even without this pandemic going on. It's just what I've always done, sneeze into my shirt. Or what they recommend is sneezing into your elbow, but that's just for the dumb people who don't think to lift their shirt.
Normally do if you were going to? Before the masks were enacted?
Potentially, maybe. I would have to look into it. I mean, masks are definitely more effective than your hand.
Yeah, you got a point there, like I just said. But here's the other thing, too. Everybody is always talking about masks as a means of protection against anything. But you know what? One of the guidelines is to be don't touch your face, social distance, wear a mask, wash your hands. Okay, well, you know what masks do? It makes people who don't normally touch their face a lot. I don't ever touch my face. I am too much of a germaphobe, and the only time I'll touch my face is if I'm home and I just wash my hands. And with these stupid masks, they're always sliding down, so I always got to keep adjusting it, or else it gets like too stuffy in there, so I kind of like, flap it a little bit just to get some fresh air popping up in there. Like, I'm touching my face all the time because of these stupid masks. And it's like, okay, so if there was a chance that I was going to get it, it's now. Because if my hands have it on them, now I'm touching my face to adjust this stupid mask. And then, let's mind you as well, nobody's even applying the mask properly. I mean, you watch videos of, like, nurses teaching you how to do it, and they don't even know how to do it right. You can tell they're but they're looking at, like, a how-to diagram or something. They're like, what am I supposed to do next? So you mean to tell me that nurses that don't even know how to properly put a mask on? What was I trying to say? Nurses don't know how to put a mask on properly, and yet you mean to tell me that regular people are going to be doing it right? Technically, you're supposed to sanitize your hands before you put your mask on and right before you take it off. Nobody does that. You just go to the store, you take your mask out of your, ashtray of your car, you launch it on your face, and then when you're done shopping, you tear that thing off, and you haven't washed your hands at all in any of that process. The mask isn't doing anything, really. And then you got those freaks that wear gloves, too. Like, what do you think that's doing? You're going to wear gloves into the store, shop around, blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to leave the store with those gloves still on, hop in your car. Okay, so now those germs are all over your gloved hands. Now you got it on your door handle to get in the car. You got it on the inside of your door when you shut the door. You got it all over your steering wheel, your drive shaft, possibly your radio, maybe your air conditioner, or it's your window button. You got it all over your groceries, all over the bags. Like, what do you think those gloves are doing? Unless you're changing your gloves nonstop, gloves ain't doing anything. And I don't know if this is the point to go on all this rant right now, but while I'm in the middle of it, another part I was thinking too is I went to the bank today, and it was just kind of funny because, you know, you gotta wear if you want to go in the lobby, you gotta wear your mask. And I was thinking about it, and money is, and always has been, one of the most filthiest things that are regularly circulated in society. And it just seemed funny, like, I gotta wear a mask to come into this place, and yet you guys regularly handle highly contagious and toxic materials, if you will, all day. Yeah, I'm wearing a mask to come in here. The fibers of the bills are probably soaked with coronavirus, and you're worried about me wearing a mask? I don't know, it just seemed, well, it kind of seemed ironic, just all things considered.
But when it comes to COVID, it's been shown that the masks help. So I'm just trying to understand why you're so opposed to wearing the mask.
Because I really don't think COVID is as serious as a problem as they're portraying it on the news.
Even if it isn't.
Pretty valid point. You got to keep in mind, the news is its own narrative, okay? It shouldn't be. It should be an unbiased thing that just reports real stuff in the world, but it's not. It's very biased. I mean, first off, just look at 95% of the news outlets. It's left-wing, liberal, democratic stuff. And so that's all you hear. Constantly blast at you. Oh, this, oh, this, oh, this, oh, this, oh, this. And I really do think that they are way making this a bigger situation than it truly is. Just like it seems like she does too.
Do you believe that the science has shown masks help?
Not really, because a lot of it's probably stats, and stats can easily be manipulated to fit whatever narrative you want it to fit. And if they want the narrative right now to be, masks make a huge difference, and this virus is super deadly, then yeah, they're gonna make those stats say just that, whether it's the exact truth or not.
I personally just don't think it helps. I think there's only so much that it can cover. So yeah, if people want to wear the mask, if I'm going to get somebody sick, I'm going to cover my mouth if I'm going to cough or sneeze.
Well, I found this study for you. During your response video, you mentioned that you don't trust any of the government websites. So I went out of my way and I found a study featured in Science Daily conducted by Texas A&M University that found wearing masks, it's not a little bit, it doesn't help a little bit, it's a significant, it significantly helps in slowing the spread for COVID. I'm going to read you a little segment here from what it says. Keep in mind that one of the co-authors is a professor and a co-recipient of a 1995 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. So this isn't just some random like CNN anchor saying this. They say our results clearly show that airborne transmission via respiratory aerosols represents the dominant route for the spread of COVID. By analyzing the pandemic trend without face covering using the statistical method and by projecting the trend, we calculated that over 66,000 infections were prevented by using a face mask in little over a month in New York City. So
that is garbage data. First off, how are you pretending to make an estimation on an amount of transmissions that were prevented based on people wearing masks? There has to be so many things that happened. They said in New York, okay, first off, the state shut down, did it not? I'm sure that helped drastically. And there's going to be tons and tons and tons of other stuff as well that you're missing. This is almost like this is why the weather is always wrong, because the slightest thing can out of nowhere drastically affect everything. And so what they see incoming, they're like, yeah, this looks like this, and then the day comes and it's the exact opposite, and you're like, yeah, F you weather people. But that's like this. I mean, this, I don't even understand how you can try to use any type of math to say, oh yeah, this is what it prevented. You don't know that. First off, also, the data is very much not fully fleshed out. Think about it this way. First off, think about all the people who possibly got sick and just didn't want to go to the doctors. Either A, they didn't want to go to the doctors, or B, they don't even have insurance and they're like, I ain't going to the doctors. So that's probably a lot of people. So that's a lot of undocumented cases right there. 2, there's all the people who why am I drawing a blank out of nowhere? Come on. 2, there's all the people who are currently infected but aren't showing symptoms. So obviously they're not getting tested because they don't feel like anything's wrong. So that's potentially a greater amount of individuals as well. And then 3, think about all the people who A, were sick, and B, died before Corona was actually huge, but those deaths could have been from Corona. I mean, I know that back in like mid to late January, a lot of people seem to be getting sick out of nowhere. And Corona didn't really get huge. I mean, yeah, we knew about it because obviously it started in December, but it really didn't get huge until like late February, early March. That's when everything in the world started getting crazy. Like, oh, this is a potentially serious issue. Like, we gotta shut down the whole world. But no, so during January and stuff, that's when everything was still fairly regular. And yeah, people are getting sick. Well, maybe it was that. Maybe all these people getting sick were that. So what about all those cases prior to COVID being a real thing and there's real tests and whatever going on? So, you know, this A&M person's using data, but how? First off, your data is only a subset of the true, complete picture. And B, how are you even trying to analyze the difference between wearing a mask and not? You can't really do that. How? All we have is the data for people wearing masks because it became a thing. You have to wear a mask. So it's not like they were looking at like, oh, well, last year when people weren't wearing masks, we saw this. But this year with people wearing masks, it's like this now. No, you don't have that. You're just making stuff up, basically. So my point is this data that he's trying to present to her is garbage. It's very weak, and if anything, this guy's trying to use his, I have a Nobel Prize in chemistry, so trust me. And also think about that too. He has a Nobel Prize in chemistry, so what is he doing talking about statistical methods? That's more of a mathematician's forte, not a chemist. Chemists are on Breaking Bad. Mathematicians are with numbers, so that's just another thing that's a little bit suspicious. And Texas A&M, so that's a college, like, I don't know. It's just no. That's not a very good resource that he's using. I feel like he's just throwing something at her almost to like possibly try to confuse her. Like, oh look, I found this, and then she's on the spot gonna be like, oh okay.
Do you really think it's fair to be saying that you just don't think they work?
Well, everyone knows data can be manipulated too.
Well, that's basically what I just said, so there you go, you're on the right track.
And I get what you're saying, but you know, there's only so much that we can go off of what they say by these studies because these studies are so new. You know what I mean?
Well, right, but isn't the new study, I mean, the new studies are still more data than we had previously. And what all the data is showing, whether it's new or not, is showing that masks help in slowing the spread of COVID. So I'm just curious why you're so opposed to the mask.
Well, if it does help slow the spreading, anyways, it helps slow the spreading when somebody is infected. If you don't have it, you're not contributing at all to whether it's slowing down or not. I don't have it. If I go to the store, whether I'm wearing a mask or not, it makes absolutely no difference. This is what the narrative keeps being because they don't. It's like people who want to support the mask don't have anything actually intelligent to say. Hunter keeps going in circles saying this crap, and it's like, okay, do you have it? No. So when you go to the store and you're wearing a mask, what are you protecting other people from? Nothing. The only thing you're protecting people from is if you have bad breath.
You say you don't like it or you don't want to wear it, that's, for me, is not enough of a reason for me not to wear it. So even if it is overblown, and you know what? I do think that some people get a little overblown about COVID, for sure. But even if it is overblown, wouldn't you rather just help out by wearing a mask and slowing the spread so that everybody can kind of...
Well, sometimes I do. It really depends on the situation, honestly. Like, I wear it when I ride my motorcycle, but that's about it.
So a lot of people compare wearing face masks to wearing a seatbelt. The government, the state, mandates you wear a seatbelt because you might not want to wear a seatbelt. Maybe it's really uncomfortable. Maybe you just prefer not to wear one. But you're forced to wear one because it's keeping you safe and it keeps other people safe as well. Same with...
Yeah, but that again isn't apples to apples. It's a little closer than his first example of being naked versus wearing a mask. But wearing a seatbelt versus wearing a mask, so at least with a seatbelt, yeah, it helps protect you because there's a lot that can happen that you aren't going to be planning. You could be cautiously sitting at a red light, not cautious, but paying attention. You're sitting at a light and all of a sudden this idiot behind you wasn't paying attention and rear ends you. I suppose a seatbelt actually wouldn't make a difference then when you're not moving. But say you're driving along then and your tire blows out and I don't know, maybe I'm not coming up with the good examples offhand that you would need a seatbelt, but those are the type of situations that it helps you. It's like the unforeseen things, like, oh, good thing I had my seatbelt on, that way then I didn't go flying out my window, where and also it could go the other way as well. You could be maybe tired one day, you're dozing off, and then you end up crashing into a tree. Well, your car's totaled, but you're fine because you had the seatbelt on. You didn't go flying out the window. Where the masks, again, like I keep saying, the whole point is to protect others. Okay, well, if you aren't infected, you don't have it, you're not protecting anybody. It makes no difference whether you have that mask on or not. It becomes a situation where it's just annoying to you. I get this stupid thing on my face. I hate it. I mean, everyone hates it. Like, my daughter's 8. She hates wearing it. Half the time she doesn't want to go to the store because she doesn't want to have to put the stupid mask on. It's just annoying. It's a nuisance, especially in summer. I don't want to sound petty, but, it really does get hot when you get these masks on. I go to the store. The stores are air conditioned, and yet I'm, like, sweating because I have the stupid mask on. I know it sounds petty, but it's something I noticed the other day. Like, I was in the store, and I was ready to take the mask off because I was, like, starting to profusely sweat. I'm like, I have no idea how this mask is making me get so hot, but I know it's the mask. Because I've never sweat in a fully air-conditioned store before, all these years. And now all of a sudden I get this stupid thing on my face and somehow it's making me hot. So it's like, what am I wearing it for? It's making me hot, it's making me uncomfortable, and I don't have anything to give to anybody else. So why do I have this dumb thing on my face for?
Not driving drunk. You're not allowed to drive drunk. Maybe you want...
He's trying to throw driving drunk out there too. Oh my word. That's not... Now that's further away. The seatbelt thing was at least better. Driving drunk is not apples to apples again. Of course you can't drive drunk. That severely impairs you, which puts not only you in danger, but it puts others in danger. It puts others' property at danger. Not wearing a mask if you're not infected does nothing. What are you missing about this, Hunter? Hey, I'm clean. I don't have COVID, but I gotta wear this mask so I can protect others from getting it. Huh? That's nowhere near the same thing as driving drunk. Hey, I'm totally wasted. Look at me swerving all over the road. My reaction time's greatly impaired. This is totally comparable to me not being COVID negative and wearing a mask. Like, seriously, these are completely different situations. Come up with a better analogy. These suck. Are you even trying?
Want to drive drunk, but it's
No.
But it's to save.
I'd have to want to drive drunk.
It's in place to keep other people safe. There's nothing in the...
No, because like I just said, they keep you safe as well. The seatbelt keeps you safe if someone else hits you or if you screw up yourself. Not drinking drunk, yes, keeps others safe, but it keeps you safe as well. The mask is designed to only protect others. So if I don't have it, what am I wearing the stupid mask for? I am not keeping anyone else safe with it on because there was no danger from me in the first place. Oh my word, how many times do I have to say this?
There was a Supreme Court ruling, I have it here, in 1905, Jacobson versus Massachusetts, where the Supreme Court upheld the state's smallpox vaccination requirement. So back in 1905, they required people take a vaccine, which I'm sure you have your opinions on vaccine.
Well, I'm sure people didn't like that back in the day, but you know what? Smallpox was a true pandemic. Okay, let's put it this way: when you had smallpox, you knew you had it. COVID, you don't even know if you have it. It's supposed to be so deadly and so, oh my god, we gotta wear masks to protect everyone, and yet you don't even know if you have it. You gotta go take a test. How can it be so deadly if you gotta take a test? How is it so deadly when the only way it's really spread is by sneezing or coughing? As long as nobody sneezes or coughs around you, even if they have it, you're fine. You know, smallpox was different. That was wildfire. You know, it was just jumping all over the place, and you knew you had it. It wasn't like, I wonder if I have smallpox. No, you were like, uh-oh, I got it. Or COVID, you're like, I don't know if this is just my allergies or if I have COVID. Like, again, it's not really apples to apples. You're just finding anything just to try to stump her, and unfortunately it's working. Like I said, maybe she's nervous, maybe she's super unprepared, maybe she's just terrible at debating. I don't know. I mean, I am too, so I can kind of put myself in her shoes. I'd probably be doing bad as well. But he's winning with garbage because she's just stumped.
As well, but
no, it depends on the vaccine.
okay.
Well, alright, for example, they did make exceptions in it, didn't they?
Exceptions with what, the mask mandate?
For the mask mandate, yeah.
Yeah, if someone has like previous breathing problems, then they're not recommended to wear a mask.
Right.
Like pre-existing
So
conditions.
technically that could apply to anybody.
I mean, technically, yeah, but if you don't have a pre-existing condition, there's no real reason for you not to wear a mask. It makes a lot more sense.
That actually even seems like a loophole as well. Like, oh, everyone has to wear a mask, but oh, you got a breathing condition? Okay. It's funny because you got these people that always they're way over the top. Like, if you've seen the debates of people talking about breathing, making me breathe my own CO2 back in, and it's kind of stupid. It's like, whatever. You're campaigning to not wear a mask, but your argument sounds bogus. But, you know, it's like, they're supposed to wear a mask and everyone else is supposed to, but you got a breathing condition, yeah, you're okay, you don't have to. It's like, well, what are you saying, that the masks are actually that restrictive? They're really not. They're just annoying, and the reason why we have to wear them is dumb. That's why I am irritated with it. But to give these people, it's like, I guess to go against Hunter, he's saying that everybody should be wearing a mask because blah 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 blah, and I keep countering it easily. But then he's saying, oh, well, somebody with a pre-existing condition. Okay, so that person with a pre-existing condition has COVID and they're not wearing a mask now, but that's okay because they have a pre-existing condition, right? Like, come on. It's like you're not even consistently sticking with his side. Should they be wearing a mask or not? Like, which is it? Oh, you have a condition. Oh, you got COVID, but you have a pre-existing condition. That's okay, you don't need a mask. Like, all right, cool.
To wear one if that's what the data suggests help slow the spread of COVID.
Yeah, like at Walmart, it's, you know, like when the people are freaking out at Walmart, yelling and screaming at everybody down the aisles. That gets ridiculous. They don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, you mean like the Karens? That is kind of dumb. Like, mind your business. You're only making a problem for yourself because now you're getting close to this person to yell at them because they don't have a mask, and it's like, you're an idiot. Back off. Like the Karen video that I made about a week or two ago.
Sure,
I mean,
I agree.
And
But
I had my own circumstances at Walmart. One particular circumstance where someone decided to blockade me.
was this a Walmart employee or just another person at Walmart?
No, it was a Walmart employee.
I mean, yeah, if you have an underlying health condition, then it's not recommended you wear a mask.
I mean, that's my personal reason. I don't really like going into it because I prefer not to be questioned about it, you know, to begin with.
That's fine.
But when you get down to it, that's the reason.
So this kind of doesn't make sense though. Her whole platform started as, I don't want to wear the mask because I don't want to. Literally, that was the platform. Now all of a sudden it's merged into, well, I don't want to wear it because I have a pre-existing condition, which then basically just makes it okay that you're not wearing one. It's like, did you even know about this? It's almost like Hunter brought this up, and then she's like, oh, good, there's my scapegoat. Like, kind of weak. And a little too, what is it? Too little too late as well.
Why don't we move on to what else you brought up in both your videos, actually. You talked a lot about hydrochloroquine. Well,
I wasn't really prepared when we decided to do this live stream. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, that's where I told you she admits it. Kind of deep in, though. Geez, 19 minutes in, you say this?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just curious because...
Honestly, I figured you were pretty much just going to try to roast me as much as possible.
No.
I actually thought that, too, when I saw the thumbnail that it was with her, because I know the video she made, and I know the video he made in response to her, so I thought... That's what I was thinking, too. Like, I thought this would be a little more exciting when I first watched it, so...
No, I'm not trying to roast anybody here. I genuinely want to understand some of your positions and where they come from.
Alright, so I guess this is where I'm going to end their video. Basically, I chopped out a lot. They started talking about hydrochloroquine, however you say that. And then they kind of transitioned into talking about conspiracy theories about the virus. The conspiracy theories are kind of wild, though. So, I don't really have anything I can comment on those. And as far as the hydrochloroquine, like, I don't know, so I'm not going to say anything about that either. As she said, though, right here before I stopped it, like, this is something you hear about all the time, though. Everything's just coronavirus. Oh, this, all that, oh, this, all that, oh, this, all that. Here's the thing, though. I feel like at the end of the day, it is not as big of an issue as people, or I should say as the media, is making it sound like. And so to prove this, I'm going to take a second right now just to lay out some figures. Use hard numbers, hard facts, and real stats. Not the stats that Hunter posed in that science journal thing, but real numbers that I can do right in front of you right now, and you can see. So give me a second, and I'll be right back. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to look up was this. Total number of COVID cases in the U.S. So it looks like, here it is. There's been 5.14 million confirmed cases and 164,000 deaths. Now that's the U.S. Alright, so basically the number of confirmed cases is still less than Maryland's total population. Just to put it into context, that's all I'm trying to do. I mean, Maryland's a relatively small state, so you basically have one small state, and even then, there's still some people in that state that are fine. Now, of those, 164,000 have... What are my searches up here? Have 164,000 of them have died. So again, let's do some quick math. Where's the calculator? Calculator. So, I forgot the numbers. Hold on. So we have 164,000 deaths out of 5.14 million cases. That is 3.19% of people who get the disease die. That means the other 96.81% are fine. If you ask me, that does not sound that much of a big issue. So basically this is saying you have a 96.81% chance of getting better when you get COVID. That's not even of getting COVID. That's just if you get it, you got a 96.81% chance of making it through. Like, okay, that sounds pretty good. I mean, if you were gonna have a surgery for something major, say you're gonna have like say you had cancer, and the doctor was like, yeah, we can remove this. You got a 3.19% chance that you might die, but other than that, we feel like it'll be highly successful. I don't think you'd be like, oh God, I gotta really think about this. There's a 3% chance I might die. No, you'd be like, that's it, 3%. Oh, that's wicked good odds. I mean, some people go into surgery with 50-50 odds. 3% is, you'd be like, yeah, well, what are you telling me for? I don't care. Don't do it. So also, new number now is in the context of the United States population as a whole. So first we're going to do infected cases. So it's 5.14 million, and the U.S. population is 328.2 million. So 5.14 million people have been a confirmed case, divided by 328.2. So out of the entire U.S. population, 1.56% of the population has gotten it. 1.56. Okay? Like, you know how they talk about the top 1% of the people are super loaded? Yeah, that's not even that many people. And that's basically the same amount of people that have been, confirmed with corona. Like, how is this such a threat? So anyways, though, new math problem is how many have died in the context of the entire population. So that was 164,000 divided by 328 point, whoops, I can't, not doing it two. What was it? 328.2, yep, 2. Okay. Now, just in case you're dumb, times 100 for 100%. We're looking at 0.049969530773918% of the population. 0.04. That is the percentage. That is, I already did the times 100. That is the percentage of people who have died of the U.S. population who have died from COVID-19. 0.04%. I mean, that's not even 1/40th of a percent. That's less than 1/40th of a percent. Right? Or 1/20th, my bad. Less than 1/20th of a percent. Like, I don't want to downplay those people that died. I don't want to downplay anybody who's even gotten it. Because, the media makes it sound scary, and I don't know what it's like. It could be a miserable experience while you have the virus. Maybe, I don't know how it feels, what it does to you. But at the end of the day, like, heck? Butch, what are you doing? Get out of there. I don't want to downplay any of it, but at the end of the day, what ends up happening is, like, these numbers are not that significant. 1.5% of the U.S. population has gotten the virus. So the other 98.5% of us are fine. And we all have to wear a mask, though, to protect others. Because 1.5% of the population's had it, so we all have to wear a mask? Really? And then of those, well, not even of those. I mean, yeah, of those. What was the number of those that had it that died? I forget the number. It was also low, though. But of the population as a whole, 0.049% of the population has died. Like I said, not trying to downplay them, but that's not even that significant a number. I could see if this was like 10%, it'd be like, oh my god, this is crazy. Even 1% dying of the population as a whole, now that would be significant. If the 1.5% died and wasn't just people that were infected, yeah, then it would be like, okay, yeah, this kind of is crazy. But no, the number is 0.049. Not even 1/20th. And I'll prove 1 divided by 20, 0.05. See? So I know my math. It's probably like what, 1/21th of a one, however the word is. Yeah, close to 1/21 of a percent. Of a percent. Of 1. It's a tiny fraction. 164 divided by 5. What was the... Let me go back to this again. 514140000. Yeah, that's what it was. It was only 3.19% of the people that had the virus that died anyways. So, yeah, okay, that's significant enough. 3% of the people who have it, but still, it's like, I could see if it was like 80% of people who've gotten it, then it'll be like, oh my god, this thing is deadly. No, it's just 3.19%. And it's like, they've always said that people with pre-existing conditions are more likely to die from it. So that means, what did these people have? Maybe they were elderly. Maybe they had, sickle cell anemia. Maybe they had AIDS. Maybe they had emphysema. Obviously there was something that helped encourage that anyway. So my point is again, not to try to downplay them, but maybe, they were weakened. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know. It's just 3% is not. It's nothing. What's the percentage of people in the military? I should have looked that up. Just think about that now. What's the percentage of people in the military? I mean, all the military, Air Force, Army, Marines, and SEALs, and all that. All of it combined. How many people are in the military? Because potentially all of them can die if a war breaks out. But that's okay, right? But 3.19% of people of the percentage, as 3.19% of the people who were infected, which was only 1.5% of the population in general, die, and this becomes a pandemic, and everyone has to act like a freak. The whole world needs to shut down. Cinemas can't be open, restaurants can't be open. Everyone has to wear a mask and everything for 0.049% of people dying. Really? I don't know. And then I wanted to just point out this as well. Influenza death rates of 2019. The CDC, same exact place that's talking about COVID, okay? So that's the best information I have. Estimates that influenza is associated with more than 35.5 million illnesses, more than 16.5 million medical visits, 490,600 hospitalizations, and 34,200 deaths during the 2018-2019 influenza season. So, okay. I guess on one hand, the flu results in significantly less deaths, so there's that. But at the same time, it's still a massive number of illnesses that are caused by it, massive number of medical visits as a result of it, a good amount of hospitalizations, 490,600 hospitalizations. 164,000 people have died from coronavirus, but 490,600 people have been hospitalized because of it. So, because of influenza, not because of corona. So, the regular flu is no joke either, but we don't shut down the world because of the flu. We don't have to wear masks because of the flu. We don't have to, you know what I mean? Now, the only difference, though, maybe you could say, in defense of the deaths, that's what I meant, you could say, is because they have the flu shot. So, okay, people get the flu shot, that gives them a little immunity boost to this before they get it. But, I don't know. My perception is, I feel like the media definitely is way overhyping this condition. It is not as severe as I think that they're trying to make it. Let's put it this way as well. I don't know anybody who's had it. I work 2 jobs. I've been fine through it all. One of my jobs is working with the public. I work on a highway. You get all kinds of people coming through there. Truckers, long distance people, drive-in or whatever, I'm fine. All the people I work with are fine. I don't know. Is this really that severe? I'm not trying to jinx myself and get it, but I'm just saying, if I have 2 jobs, if there's any chance of somebody getting this, wouldn't I be at high risk between 2 jobs, one of them being with the public in such a highly diversely traveled area? You know what I mean? I don't know. And then you look at the numbers that I just did. 0.049% of the population has died from this. It's is that really that much of a threat that we need to call this a pandemic and literally shut the entire country down? You can't go to the movies because of 0.09% of the population? Again, I'm not trying to be a jerk and downplay those people. Obviously, those families are sad and, they lost somebody. They're never going to get to see them again or anything. So I get that. But I just mean, 10% would be more of a wow number. You know what I mean? If it was well, this is 10% of people. Jeez. No, it's 0.049. Really? I don't know. I do plan on making a tea forecast about this. Maybe I'll stop talking here before this gets too much, and then all of a sudden it turns into my tea forecast, and I'm whoops. But yeah, I just wanted to I just wanted to more or less help her out and also sort of debate Hunter, because usually his debates are very good, but I feel like this one was garbage and she was just struggling. So you want to see the whole thing, it's on his channel. I debated a conspiracy theorist and this happened. Hey, we didn't find out what the "and this happened" was either, so check out his video if you want to see what the "and this happened" is, because there is something that happens. I didn't get there yet. It's close to the very end. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for checking this out, and until the next one, you already know, I said see ya.